Texas goes to Nashville to take on the Commodores. I am fired up. Upset alert week. Upset alert. Woo! Okay, let me pump the brakes here. Vanderbilt versus Texas. Texas does go to Nashville. Your thoughts, man?
Blake, I got to be honest. I'm throwing out any stats for this discussion for both these teams, and let's just sit down. We're gonna, take out your folding chair. We're gonna sit. We're gonna talk this thing through. That's the only way that we got to get through this one, because this is a very unique circumstance for both teams.
I agree.
Texas's stats were super inflated going into the year. They were in number one or in the top 5 in every single category. None of that meant anything the first time that they faced off against Georgia. They got punched in the mouth. They had a couple of things that went their way that helped them get points on the board. But if it wasn't for a couple of situations, interceptions, could have been a total much bigger blowout than it was. Inversely, Vanderbilt is probably the most ridiculously chaotic team, which I have applauded but also commiserated over, because they're impossible to predict. They will come out and they'll smoke a team like Kentucky, they'll upset Alabama, and then they're going to play like shit against Georgia State and Ball State. They're the Notre Dame of the South, first of all. That's basically what they're trending towards, where they can't play G5 teams well, and they'll lose to them and play them too close, but then they'll show up for their big games. Look, all I'm just trying to say is here, Vanderbilt is showing a propensity that when they want to show up and play, and they want to get hyped up, and they smell blood, that they're going to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that to say that this is Texas's opportunity to not falter, to not allow the performance last week to hang on their heads and to drag them down. You need to play a complete football game. Do not let what happened to Alabama happen to you. This is always going to be everybody's trap game, even though Vanderbilt is now ranked.
Joe, this is a ranked football game.
I know. It's still a trap game.
Yeah.
I consider it one.
I'm not considering a trap game when you upset the number 1 team in the country.
Well, but that's why I'm considering it one, is that Texas is supposed to be a national championship contending team, an SEC championship contending team, and Vanderbilt's ceiling is going to a good full bowl game and being 8-4. That's their ceiling.
Yeah, I can't do that. I can't do that. You know why? Because if you don't play fundamentally sound, which Texas did not do in the entire first half against Georgia on many situations and things, Joe, you're going to be in trouble. You might win the football game. You might win it by 7 or 10, or hell, maybe you're lucky and feeling frisky and you want to beat them by 14. But if you don't play fundamental sound football, what Vanderbilt does, man, they use triple option principles in a non-conventional way. Give it, run it, throw it flat. They are making Pavia make decisions and be a playmaker. And Joe, why I think that they've actually and ironically struggled against G5 opponents is because that's what G5 opponents see a lot more of. This tactician,
right.
And like, hey, we're going to play fundamentally sound. We're going to be really good. By the way, did you know that Ball State was one of the oldest teams in the country? Actually, they're like I think it was like top 10 or top 5. Those guys have seen a lot. I get what you're saying, though. Vandy should get blown out. Like Vandy should get blown out here, considering Texas is coming off a bad loss. The talent gap is a massive one. How does that O-line react? Because they got Georgia got them over 1-1. And how much are we overreacting? Right? Like, how much are we overreacting to Texas being beat here? Joe, they got beat by 15. Oh, like, okay. To Georgia.
Well, considering they were favored and to lose by 15, that's why the overreaction was provided and why it was warranted.
No, people just forgot how dominant Georgia can be.
He didn't.
Right? Like, I mean, that's how I really feel. Like, bro, did you really not know that Georgia was that good? However, Joe, it's 3 yards in a cloud of dust for Vandy this week. And again, you better get off the field on 3rd down. Joe, what they have done to Virginia Tech, what they've done to Alabama, what they've done to Kentucky. They want to get in 3rd and 3. They want to use some form of triple option principle. And if you're not ready to go and you're not locked in on what you're supposed to do, I promise you they're going to play keep away. Their time of possession is insane. Clark Lee is no dummy. And Joe, I got to tell you this. When I look at Vandy, dude, good luck running the football on them this week in some capacity. Joe, the best thing that they do is stop the run. They are pedal to the metal. Texas has a problem in that area. Now, I think Quinn Ewers has too much talent. And yes, even for this situation, I still think that he even is too good to not throw the ball down the field and make big plays. But Joe, I'm going to tell you, man, take Vandy's label off. If they didn't have that V on the side of their helmet and you just looked at them as a team, you would say, listen, they're a service academy right now on steroids. Joe, they went full house personnel last week. They ran like 7 triple option principles last week. I mean, if you don't play fundamentally sound, that's how you have to beat these teams, right? Like you don't see this every week. Joe, they came out of an I formation last week. Name a team that you've seen this year, not in the FCC or FCS, that comes out in an I formation. Please tell me.
It's a good question. But okay, so this is the why, Blake, I'm like classifying this as a trap because yes, Vanderbilt is ranked. I don't know if they should be ranked. I was arguing.
I did tell you that we were arguing about this on Monday or on
before
Sunday.
The show. Yeah, before we taped, and I was arguing with you, and I was saying there's no way in hell that they get ranked, and kind of shows the state of the playoff picture at the current moment that there's not.
It also
many
shows
options.
the media. I know the media. That's why I knew that they were going to be ranked.
Bunch of losers. But my point is though is that Texas has way more talent, and more importantly, Vanderbilt, like they don't do anything exceptionally well, but give 110% effort. That's it. They just go hard. It is really, you kind of actually did classify well where it does feel like I'm watching a service academy team on steroids. It feels like I'm watching a team that's just really fundamentally sound, a lot smarter than you because these kids are all probably taking engineering classes, and while these other kids are not going to class, and they're just outsmarting, out-efforting anyone who does not show up ready to fight. And this is why I'm saying that this could be a trap, is that Texas can get caught up in it based on their reaction to last week. I'm going to keep repeating that anytime anyone asks me about it. It all comes down to how do they react to last week? Are they galvanized and motivated? Are they feeling sorry for themselves? And do they think, oh, it's Vandy, we're going to kick the crap out of them? I don't think Sark's that type of coach, though. I think that they're going to come prepared.
Joe, I think Texas is going to respond and win. And for everybody that's going to be in our comments, Blake's a hater. Okay, whatever. I've seen Vandy do it. Joe, and I've seen them do it against physical defensive lines, right? Offensively. It's just going to be interesting to see, man. Look, give me Texas in this one, but Joe, something in the back of my mind says that if Texas doesn't play fundamentally sound, we're going to be turning off the Texas game at the end of this one being like, hey, bro, this Texas team was boo-boo. Like they weren't as good as we thought that they were. So we'll see. All right.
BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts.